Good morning, friends. We are going to work on Science Chapter 6, Lesson 6 today. Students will describe how weathering and erosion change Earth features. What are weathering and erosion? I will know how weathering and erosion change Earth's features. Words to know: weathering and erosion. Weathering by plants. Landforms are the solid features found on Earth's surface, such as mountains and valleys. Landforms change constantly. For this to happen, rocks and landforms must first break apart. Weathering is any process that breaks rocks into smaller pieces. And I'm going to underline that because it is a vocabulary word. Weathering changes can be very slow. Some might take centuries. Others may take less than a year. Weathering goes on all the time. Plants sometimes cause weathering. Their roots can grow into cracks in rocks. As the roots get bigger, they can split and break up the rocks. Weathering by water. Water can cause weathering too. Water changes the minerals in some rocks. The rocks become weakened and may begin to break apart. Water can also cause weathering when it freezes and thaws. Water can get into cracks in rocks. When water freezes, it expands or grows larger. The ice pushes against the sides of the cracks. Over the years, the rocks may break apart. Erosion by water. Sometimes weathered material stays in place. Sometimes it is picked up and slowly or quickly carried to other places. The movement of weathered material is called erosion, and I'm going to underline that because it is a vocabulary word. Water is one of the causes of erosion. Rainwater can carry away soil from farm fields. Waves cause erosion along shorelines. Rivers carry bits of rocks from one place to another. Sand and mud flow over a river's banks during a flood. Glaciers can also cause erosion. Glaciers are huge bodies of ice and snow that move slowly over Earth's crust. As a glacier moves, it wears away bits of rock and soil and carries them off. Erosion by wind. Erosion by wind is common in dry regions, such as deserts. Winds can carry dry sand and soil to other places. Few tall plants grow in deserts. This means there is little to stop the particles of sand and soil from blowing around. Sand and soil particles can also cause weathering when blown by the wind. The particles bump into rocks and break off tiny grains. Over time, more grains are broken off. The rocks slowly change. Other causes of erosion. Gravity also causes erosion. Gravity pulls rocks and soil downhill. The material moves slowly if the slope is gentle. It can move quickly on steep slopes. A mud flow is the quick movement of very wet soil. A rock slide is the quick movement of rocks down a slope. Living things can cause erosion too. For example, ground squirrels tunnel through soil. The tunneling allows water and air to move into the ground. This continues the process of erosion. Deposition. The rock and soil that erosion carries away must go someplace. The placing of pieces of Earth's surface in a new place is called deposition. New islands can form as a result of deposition. This happens when rivers carry rock and bits of soil to the ocean. These particles build up over time and can form islands just off the coast. Wind can also cause deposition. Wind can blow sand into mounds. These mounds are called sand dunes. Look at the picture below. Desert winds have formed many sand dunes. The wind continues to change the size and shape of the dunes. Weathering, erosion, and soil. Soil is made up of tiny pieces of rock, air, water, and humus. The tiny pieces of rock come from larger rocks that have broken up. Rocks are broken up and moved about through weathering and erosion. Small plants sprout in the rock and eventually die. The remains of these plants break down and form humus. Soil develops from different kinds of rocks and plants. This is part of the reason why soils are not alike everywhere in the world. All right, friends, that's the end of Lesson 6. That's also the end of Science Chapter 6. Thank you.